Yeah. Okay. So I think
Hello.
that's yeah. What's that?
Hindi, nag-hi lang ako.
Oh, hi Tim.
Hello. Kala nag-hi ka eh. I was like, okay, hi. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Hello to everyone.
Hello, happy weekend, Carlo.
Woohoo! Happy weekend.
Woo!
Fuck work. Okay. I think the last thing that I have to show you when it comes to building the slides would be yung word pairs and the semantic network. So let's just get right into it. Uh, Na-explain na to eh. So, 'di ba sa sketch engine lang naman 'yan. So if you do some exploration there, then you should be fine. So what I haven't explained would be another form of text analysis, which would be uh, itong semantic network analysis and the word pairs, which are really both related kasi you need to go through the same steps in order to produce this. So just as a reminder, semantic network analysis uses exactly the same methods as our stakeholder mapping, where we are looking at actor networks. In semantic network analysis, the nodes instead of people are concepts. So what that means is that you also have to feed a corpus into the software that we use, and then it will produce a network file that you should be able to open in Gephi, and then you'll be able to perform these things here. Okay, so I'll just show you that how to do that step by step. So typically you'll start with a corpus, right? Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Let's just look for an appropriate file. Yun lang. Yeah, that's good enough. So there's this piece of software called Kowo, and that's exactly what it does. It takes text, unstructured text, and then it converts it into a network.
Hey,
So,
Carlo, are you sharing your screen?
oh, I'm not? Okay, I'm sorry.
Not yet.
I thought I was sharing my screen. Okay, never mind.
Yung.
So yun, we have our corpus file here, which is a CSV. And then there is a piece of software called Kowo, which is what we use for creating semantic networks. Actually, hindi ako sure kung nasan siya nakasave. So, i-search ko lang muna. Saan nga ba yun? Documents or downloads? Kowo. Kowo.exe. Ayun, so this is Kowo. And all you need to do is to select your text file. So, saan na nga ba yan? It's confusing. Ito. So just select your corpus file. But before you click create map, there are a couple of things you want to do. So the first thing that you'll want to do would be the max words for the map. I would say that 250 is a good number. It just makes the map a little more manageable. Sometimes I go to 400. So maybe let's see what 400 looks like. And then you'll also need to select a list of stop words. So yung stop words, di ba yung parang they are sort of meaningless or words that really don't carry much meaning. Uh, so you actually want them to be removed before the analysis is done. So here we already have a list of stop words in English and a few other languages. And then you just need to put that here. So nasa downloads siya. Paano ba to? Downloads. Stop words in 19 languages. English. Ayan, so that should have loaded our English stop words na. Then just click save and then click create map. And then give it maybe a minute. And I can see here determining all word co-occurrences for each line of text. So that's basically what you need. It will create for you an edge list. So exit this, and then you'll find that it would have created network files in the same folder as your corpus. So you can see here, Tesla sales Facebook corpus GML. This is a network file that you can open in Gephi. So you can double click that to launch Gephi. Please install Gephi 0.9.2. It's free. Ayun. So, di ba nag-set tayo ng 400 words kanina. So, it ended up with 390 words and 37,000 edges. So, just click OK. And close this. That's what the network looks like right now. So, medyo magulo. But the first thing that I want you to pay attention to would be this. You'll notice that wait, sorry. You'll notice here na your source and target use the ID code, right? This one here. They don't use the label. And that's problematic because later on when you do your word pairs, you'll only see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. It won't be anything that can make sense. So I'll explain how you can turn this later into actual words. But for now, maybe just as a refresher again, let's turn this into something that's kind of like this, right? Let's turn it into a semantic network that we can use. Sige. So just like before, the first thing we do would be to display the labels. I like to do it regular, probably size 36. And then just run your usual statistics. That would be network diameter. That would be average degree. You probably don't need hits for semantic networks, so I won't do that. You will definitely want to do modularity so that you can see which words cluster together. And then you can think of these words with the same color that are clustered together as a subtopic, right? So that's what we've done here. Okay, let's go back to Gephi. So definitely calculate modularity. You can try the default setting of 1, which gave me only 4 communities. So I would actually like more because I want to be a bit more granular with my details, right? I want to be able to have my topics be a bit more specific. So what I will do is to get more communities. by lowering the resolution. So it says here, right there, lower to get more communities, smaller ones. So one good starting point would be 0.7. Let's see. Still 4. Baka apat nga lang talaga. But you can play around with this first and then see what happens. 32, that's way too many. You probably want something like 10, 10 to 15, maybe 12. I think that would be a good number, where the network map sort of makes sense pa rin. And it's also a bit easier for the analyst. Kasi yung kanina yung 32, what that means is you'll have to go through 32 clusters and try to make sense of it. So masyadong madami. I think 10 is manageable, so let's stick with that. I use a resolution there of 0.5. But again, you'll have to play around with it. What else do we need? I actually don't think we need anything else when it comes to semantic networks. So maybe let's leave it at that. And then we'll do our usual layout, partition. So color, make sure this palette is selected, nodes is selected, and then partition, and then modularity class. That's fine kasi ito, I think this is pretty insignificant. They only make up 0.51% of the network. And when I say that, what that means is the number of nodes that make up each of those clusters, or the number of words and phrases. So apply that. And then you also want to resize your nodes. Now for this, when it comes to semantic networks, I tend to use betweenness centrality as my main statistic for determining how important the nodes are. And that's because betweenness centrality, what it means is parang you are standing at sort of like crossroads where many different communities can connect with you. So I think that that's a good measure of how important the concept is, because it's very possible na connected ka to several subtopics, right? So obviously Tesla is probably connected with all of these. And if you use betweenness centrality, it will make a word like Tesla very large, right? So that's why I tend to use betweenness centrality for semantic networks. So let's select that now, and that will determine the size of our nodes. So my default would be 10 and 350. Just click apply. Ayan. And then resize the labels as well. So ranking, betweenness centrality, these are the settings I use. We could actually make it bigger, I feel. Maybe 4. Ayan. No, actually maybe 3. Ayan. That's probably good enough. And then just do the same circle pack layout. Hierarchy 1 would be modularity class. Hierarchy 2 would be betweenness centrality. Run that, and then there you have it. These represent subtopics. So what people actually do when they do semantic network analysis is you need to see which of these topics go together. So sometimes, just by looking at these words, you already sort of get a sense of what they're talking about. But sometimes it's not so obvious. And that's also the problem when you have too few clusters. Parang there's so many words associated with each that it becomes hard to make sense. In fact, I'm kind of struggling here. Uh, let's try modularity again. Let's try 0.45. 12 clusters. 0.4. 15. So yeah, let's try that. So you just need to recolor them. I still don't know what they're talking about. But in any case, you don't stop there naman eh. Uh,
Carlo,
yeah,
may
yeah.
question lang ako. What does it mean when you were adjusting your resolution earlier?
What resolution does is it changes the number of communities that it tries to look for. So its base setting would be one. But if you feel like that produces too few or too many communities, and this is always something that the analyst needs to make a judgment call on. If you want more communities, meaning smaller ones, then you'll put this lower. And so that's why I ended up with 0.4. If you want less communities,
Lower.
then you'll raise this.
Ah,
So sige, demonstrate natin. So let's try to make this 8. It only ended up with one community. Right? So if you apply the color, they're all the same. But I think what you need to keep in mind is how easy it is to make sense of those clusters and whether it's a manageable number of subtopics for the report. So kanina nag 0.4 tayo and gave us 15 communities. I think that's reasonable. Yeah.
yung iba rin bang network metrics, Carlo, meron din siyang resolution?
It's just modularity.
It's just module. Okay, thank you.
So, ayun, yun yung circle pack. And then, as usual, I like to expand it just so it's easier to see the stuff. You can do no overlap. And then you can do label adjust. Okay. And then, ayun, na-populate na siya with all of the metrics. If you go to preview, click on refresh. Let's see what it looks like. What's happening? Parang nag-crash siya. I don't know why this always happens recently. Sometimes it feels more stable, but for some reason, parang nagsa-struggle siya ngayon. Ayan. So maybe it just took a bit of time before to render it. Oh no. I think I fucked it up. Okay, let's try that again. We'll just repeat the steps. So ayun, so as you can see, kung pag medyo gamay mo na, you can actually do it very quickly. Okay. Circle pack, modularity. No. Okay, so that's what we have. Okay. So typically, before you generate the visualization here, I always check rescale weight kasi sometimes the edges just become super big na parang you just see a flat color across the screen. So it's always a good idea to make sure that rescale weight is checked. Um, Show labels, definitely. We don't do proportional size, but we set this to the same font size that we put earlier. So I think I used 36. Uh, we don't want curved because we want, wait, did we use curved here? We did use curve here. So I guess for aesthetics, going na lang natin. Um, yeah, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so the reason you cannot see the labels is because ito na naman yung gagong renderers na it goes out of order. So just make sure that default node labels is on top. And then you can just refresh it again. Ayun. I feel like the text is a bit too small, so I'm going to adjust it to maybe 42. Bakayan ko pa. Okay, I think that's good enough. And then, minsan, sobrang makulay niya like this. Just to make it a bit more readable like this, you can also play around with your opacity. So that's the first thing you can adjust. So you could set it at 40%, halimbawa. Ayan, so medyo mas malinaw na siya. I also like to rescale the weight, although this is optional. I just want to see which edges. Um, so max or scaled weight. I'll try setting it to 10 because I want to see which edges are actually the most important. It's a bit hard to see. I think I'll decrease the opacity to 25% and then maybe max your scaled weight of 20. So you need to play around with it. I think this is kind of good enough, but I still think it can be improved. So let's try that. Ayun, I think this is much closer to what this looks like. Another thing you could do is filtering. So if you feel like there are just too many nodes, dito medyo mas konti. You could always do some filtering, just like yesterday. So, di ba dito yon filter, maybe degree range is always something that's easy to use. So maybe let's establish a minimum degree of 15, meaning uh, that word should have been connected to at least 15 times. So it says here that only 99% is visible, pero halos walang nangyari. So gawin natin 30. So now 99% is still visible. Gawin natin 150. Now here's only 71.79% is visible. So maybe that's a more manageable. So you can just refresh this again. That's probably better. It's just a bit easier to read, and then it's probably easier for the analyst as well, since you don't have to sort of wade through so many concepts. So if you're good with that, export it again. Ano nga ba yung 8K resolution? 7680 by 4320. So just export it here, PNG, transparent background. Ano yan? 7680 4320. Okay. 7680 4320. Let's call it Facebook Combined Semantic Network. I'll give it a few seconds to render. You can see my progress bar dito. Okay, that's done. So you can go. Yan. And then that's what it would look like. So all you need to do, duplicate ko na lang to. Just remove this thing here. Or actually, you can replace picture then. Change picture. Ayun. What is this? Ba't may line na ganyan? That's strange. Maybe I'll just drag it in. Okay, so it looks better. And then you can just resize it. Crop and resize. Yan, tapos ilagay mo lang sa gitna. Align, if you're familiar with this, align middle, align center. Ayan na siya. And then you just need to adjust these labels. Just to send backward para lumabas yung mga yan. Ayan. Ayan, you just need to adjust this, color-coded siya. And then also, you may notice na may percentage dyan, di ba? What that shows you is the size of the proportional size of that cluster relative to the entire network. Yun din yung ginawa nila Brandwatch actually. So if you open the Brandwatch report, saan na siya? APAC. Ayan. If you recall here in the Brandwatch report, they had this slide that looks like this. This is simply a semantic network. And then I don't know how this was visualized, but that's not that important. And then these percentages here, it's also yung sinabi ko kanina na the percentages here are simply the size of this cluster. So how do you get that? It's here. Ayan. So this is one place you can see it. Another place you can see it is if you have your filter set. Yeah, and you can also see it here. So there are a few places where you can see it. Just stop this filter. Yun. So those are the numbers that I put in here. And then the rest is just synthesis. So here I would put the 4 biggest subtopics. And again, these are clusters. So dito kasi, Gigafactory and other facilities yung largest cluster. This one, this pink one here. So that's why I chose that. And then airdrops, referrals, and promotions, Neuralink, SpaceX, and Starship, and Tesla stock prices. Those were the four largest clusters. And one way that you can interpret that would be it has the most related concepts that happen to co-occur in the same line of the data set. And so in that regard, you can think of them as being part of the same subtopic. So I think that's why this is a viable way of seeing what people are talking about and how the words are used. Okay, so that's your semantic network.
Carlo,
What the
question.
Yep, question.
Yung graph na to, hindi siya relevant dun sa parang themes that you identified, yung price, sales. Kumbaga ito, Tesla lang yung in-enter mo in general.
Yeah, so here in general siya,
Mm-hmm.
but you can also of course do it for individual themes.
Mm,
I don't know if that will take too much work kasi it
I
looks
think
like
it
here, yeah, dito naman sa yung ginawa naman nila dito, actually this first one is their themes, no? So you could do it that way. Like if you do your combined corpus, you can go in here na naman and then your labels would be themes. It's just
Mhm.
that here, what I did was labels were subtopics and not the themes.
Okay.
And then dito din naman sa Takeda APAC report from Brandwatch, may din naman silang ganito. So these aren't their themes.
Okay.
Yeah. These are like subtopics. So yan, no, athletes recover from dengue,
Okay.
Johor dengue cases, etc. Pero yun nga, since we have sort of a tight deadline, uh, let's not do it for each team. Let's do it for the combined corpus. Any other questions? Did I explain it well or does it sound completely foreign?
I think you explained it well from my end.
Okay. Ayun, so I suggest just downloading all of this software and then trying it out. Okay, so how do you turn this into word pairs? The reason you start with the semantic network is because these word pairs are actually edges, right? And this is something that's not present kasi in Sketch Engine. So what you need to do is to look for the edges with the highest weight. So dito, 'di ba dito sa data laboratory and then if you go to edges, all of them have weights. It's just that yung source and target mo, tawag dito, hindi siya naka-label. So you cannot understand it that way. So what I usually do would be I have a nested VLOOKUP formula that allows you to substitute those edges with their ID numbers. I mean those ID numbers with their labels. And then itong B and D and I na lang yung gagamitin ko for my edge list. So the nested formula is this. Okay, so maybe I'll demonstrate how you can do it. Let's copy this. How do you copy it? Right click lang dapat. What's wrong with my PC? There's something wrong with it. Maybe let's close this. Pati Excel. Oh, okay. In a way. All right, so let's just make a copy of these so we can demonstrate. Okay, so of course you will have your node list. Right there. And then you have your edge list. So actually, wait. Ito, wala to. How do you delete rows? Yeah, columns pala. What's hidden here? Nope, we don't need that. Okay, so what you want to do is to convert these numbers into their labels. So you can insert additional columns like that. Okay. So you just need that formula. Ito. You can just copy that. I think you can just copy it and it should work. Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, it didn't work. What? Why didn't it work? Oh, wait, sorry. I was in the wrong. Ayun. Actually, automatic na pala siya if you just copy it. So I think if I send you this file, you can just copy that formula and it should work. As long as you have your node list and your edge list in the same uh, Excel file, then it should work. So ayun, ginawa na niyang properly labeled yung source and target. So how would you convert that into a word pair? Ayan, just use the weights. So it's already ranked. So you can just like, how many should we do? Maybe let's do 20. So select 20 and then you can insert this one, sunburst. Ayan siya. So that's this. And then you can do some editing to make it a bit nicer. So change the font, make it a bit bigger, maybe like that. And then you also want to make sure that the values are represented there, like the edge weight. So you can click here and then click value. Ayun na siya. So what this means is that Tesla was mentioned alongside Elon Musk 592,803 times. So that makes sense. Ayun na siya. So that's really how you do it. As you can see, it really did not take that long as you know the process. Where did I get this edge list? Export it from Gephi. Here. So export table. Make sure you label it correctly kasi it can get confusing when you have a lot of files. You also want to export your nodes list, of course, and then combine them in one Excel file so that you can use this formula. Ayun. And then that's how you produce this. And then just copy that, paste it in here. Pa-cute lang, put the Tesla logo or whatever. And then, or Elon Musk's face, whatever you want to put. And then here, concordance. So the way I would just do that would be, of course, you could always do it in Sketch Engine, right? If you've uploaded the corpus there anyway. It's probably the easiest. So you can just go to Sketch Engine. And then for the report next week, when Doy called last night, he also stressed na he would like this to be a group effort. And I completely agree with that. I think it's good training for everyone. It adds to your skill set for sure. And these are skills that you can take wherever, you know. And also apart from that, we needed to build the reports. So I think it only makes sense that we all help each other build this Tesla report. Okay, so I think we were on Facebook. And then if you want to do concordance, I would just go to word sketch difference. So for example, here, it was Tesla. If you notice, lemma yung nandito ha. So that means it's a single word. So it can be a bit tricky. So for example, here it says Tesla stock. I would not be able to use word sketch for that, or Kathy would. And that's because yung word sketch difference, which will allow you to see the concordance of the two, it cannot handle multi-word phrases. So actually, in that case, you might just have to go through the corpus and look for examples where those two are used together. I believe that there is a way. Actually, there is a way for sure. Wait, let me look for that file. There is a formula you can use that will show you whether the word pair is present. It's word pair. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. This is the problem when you don't organize your files. Sobrang gulo din ba ng mga files nyo or may sense?
Yung files ko sa device mismo magulo. Kaya sa Google Drive ko sila in-organize.
Ako disorganized ako as a person. So, ganun
Ako
din
din
yung
eh.
files ko.
Medyo burada ako eh.
Ako natuto na ako sa disorganization sa college eh. So lahat after the pusin, lagay na sa subfolders.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ano
wait.
yung hinahanap mo, Carlo? Parang
I have a file here somewhere where I have a formula that shows you how to see whether
the cell contains
the
a
word
certain
pair is
text.
present. Hindi ko lang
Ah,
mahanap. Wait. Ah.
tama, Carlo, no? Parang determining kung yung text is contained within a cell.
Yes. Pero it's not just one piece of text. Eh. It's
Yeah,
two things.
two
So that's why
word
you
pairs.
actually
Yeah.
need a formula.
Ah.
Where did we use it? Wait lang ah. We did the demonstration here in YouTube. So maybe I should go to that folder. Would it be this? Nope. Ano ba yan? Wait, Is it in reports? Just give me a minute, please, to look for this file. Ayun. Walang ya. Wait, let me see. Change the name. Tesla sample Tesla word pair presence formula. Let's call it that. Okay, so what you can do is once you've generated this chart, you can already see which word pairs are probably worth looking at. The first heuristic you could use for that would be simply the number of times that the thing was mentioned. But if it's too obvious, maybe it's not worth doing. So for example, Tesla and Elon Musk. Uh, like probably they will be mentioned together a lot, right? So I would probably move past that and then look for something that could be a bit more insightful. So for example, itong Tesla stock and Cathy Wood, you could use that. Elon Musk and Doge, Factory and Tesla, Insane and Elon Musk. You could actually do these ones din naman kasi this is about the stock prices or employee. But in any case, I would avoid the ones na parang super obvious. And then you will have to parang create this here, which would be the word pairs. And then if you use this formula here, it will look for search AJ. It will ayan, AJ. It will look for within each row whether these two things are present um in I4 to J. So I chose I and J because for Facebook, and this depends on the data set, it's I and J that contains text. So that's why here I and J. Right? Pero itong mga may dollar sign, which is the stuff you're looking for, AJ, right? If you're not familiar what these dollar signs mean, You need to do that in Excel so that it will not move to the next row or column for the next item. Kasi if you don't do that, let's say nasa row 12 ka, dito siya maghahanap eh. Pero if you put dollar signs, it will always just refer to this. So you want to make sure that you use those dollar signs. Of course, yung sa I and J, we're going to do it row by row. So walang dollar sign yung I and J. But in any case, I think you can just copy this and it should work. Ito kung formula na to, and then you'll just adjust the row, the cell, the cell code or whatever you want to call it. And then that's how I will look for sample text that I can then insert here. Because of course you want to show how these word pairs were actually used. Any questions?
So Carla, just to clarify, we can identify the word pairs that we want to analyze for concordance here na sa graph.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the graph will already show you the word pairs that are most frequent. So this is the most
Okay.
frequent one. That's why it has the highest value. Pero yun nga, sometimes it's just so obvious. Tesla and Elon Musk. Parang if we look at that, probably we won't get something too insightful. So you might want to go down the list and just see which ones you feel would be
Or
most impactful.
insightful.
Pero of course, this is your first parang indicator.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions here? Okay. Kung wala, what else didn't we discuss in the report? We already know
Carla,
this.
siguro question lang din. Ano yung parang masasabi mong main difference ng word pair tsaka key phrases?
I think the difference would be key phrases shows you single concepts that are important. And that's valuable for researchers and communications practitioners because they will know like the concepts, right? That matter most. And so you definitely need to know that. So for example, you need to know whatever this crypto messiah means. And you need to know that Floki is something that's a kind of crypto. That Floki is something that is often mentioned alongside within Tesla conversations in Reddit. So that's the value of that. But this one sort of expands on it because you will see other concepts that accompany those important ones. Right? So if you just look at this list here, we probably would not have seen that this shill Elon Musk word pair is actually very important. So yun siya. I would say that's the value of it. It provides further context for what you earlier presented here.
Bale yung key phrases, yun yung nakuha from sketch engine and then yung word pair nakuha from semantic network analysis.
That's correct.
Okay, got it.
One last pala, Carlo. In the graph, may parang words in the second row na magkakasama. Do we look at those individually or as a collective?
I think you look at them collectively, and that's the reason why you would use this formula.
Oh, okay.
It will show you true if these two actually appeared in the text. So you will just
Okay.
look at the ones that say true, and then you can also order it by engagement or view count. So just start with the ones with a lot of engagement. Not true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So for example, yung sa orange na um sa original part in your slides, we sorry, can you go back to that to the PowerPoint pala?
The PowerPoint, this one.
Uh, it's not showing up on my screen. Sorry. The PowerPoint earlier containing the yeah, there you go. So we look for Elon plus Musk plus Santa as the
Which
word
one are
pairs.
you talking about?
Oh, here. Ito pala, sorry. The blue one na lang, because that was what I was looking at earlier pala. So we look at Tesla plus Pro plus Stock plus Cybertruck.
Oh, no, 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 no. You just look for the pair.
Okay, okay.
So Tesla was strongly associated with Pro and with Tesla stock and with Cybertruck, but separately.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know actually know why they were grouped together here. Kasi may Tesla din naman dito, tsaka may Tesla dito.
Yeah.
But we're working with word pairs, so at least for now, let's just do the word pairs. And so
Alright.
that's why ganito na muna. I suppose you could expand this to 3 items, pero next time na lang, let's just keep it simple and just do word pairs.
Yep. Okay, sige. Thanks, Carla.
Hi, Carla, question. I
Yep.
might have missed it kanina nung na-disconnect ako. But the content, the words here, were they gathered from the YouTube video itself or dun sa descriptor box ng caption?
It was gathered from both the descriptor and the title. So that's why here, in my formula, this one here, if you'll notice, it refers to column I and J. And that's
Yeah.
because when you export the YouTube file, the title will be in its own column, but as you can see, it also contains a lot of text.
So
And
it doesn't
then,
necessarily capture the content of the video.
no, we
Okay.
won't be able to do that until we have speech to text, which is something we're working on. Pero at this point, wala pa siya.
Gets.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's the same thing that you'll do for any other semantic network and word pair analysis that you'll do. It's the exact same steps. So I will upload this also to our Google file, Google folder. Ayun. So that's how you build that slide. And then I think the rest you already know. So this is just Sketch Engine. This is Sketch Engine. Which profiles generated the most engagement on YouTube? This is pretty simple kasi we actually don't need to do the network analysis stuff here. You just need to look for the unique profiles that have the most engagement, and you can do that through pivot tables. Anyway, it's really not that hard to figure out. So if you've used pivot tables before, madali na lang yan. And then you can create a chart that looks like this. Try nga natin para insert pivot table. I don't know why you have to do this, but sometimes you need to be in the first cell for it to work. So I think that the way you would do it is your rows would be your channel title. Your columns would be maybe your favorites and your comments. And then your values would also be your favorites and your comments. But ang dami. What if we remove this? Wait, medyo nagsa-struggle din ako. How did I do it again? Okay. You don't need to put anything in columns. So, ganun lang siya. Yeah, so you don't need to do any columns, and then you can usually just copy paste this to a new sheet just so it's a bit cleaner. Paste the values. Put in a filter. And then, I don't know. I suppose view count is the most important one for YouTube. Let's delete the grand total. Although you will need this for your, di ba may slide na parang you put in the grand total of views and other forms of engagement. But for this purpose, let's just remove it. So ayun siya. And then you can, let's just hide this. You can do the exact same thing that we, ano ba yung nandito? Likes, interactions, and comments. Let's put the like count. So those are the different forms of engagement on YouTube. Ayan, and then you could probably just largest to smallest yung view count, and then yun na lang yung ilagay nyo for this. So you could just maybe 30 ulit. This is the best thing to do for this would be a combo chart. Ganyan. Actually, wait, sorry. We need a column for total interactions. So isasum natin to. Okay, and then you can create a combo chart for this. Ayan na siya. So it was already suggested as your combo chart. Sometimes if these things are just too small, you can create din naman a secondary axis, right? So, liit eh. Yun, so axis options, just click secondary axis and then it will already put in something here. You can adjust the range of values. So let's say maximum would be what's that? 120,000. 110,000 maybe, let's try. Balik natin sa 120,000. Anong nangyari? Wait na. Ayun. No, it's still too small.
I think it's 1.2 million.
Yeah, it was million pala, sorry. So ayan siya. And then that's what you would put here. Ano pa ba? And then here, I just get the information of the highest scoring ones. What's this? Most active commenters. I may as well show you yung YouTube data tool since that's what you'll use for YouTube. I hope it's not too overwhelming at this point. So I'll send this link to you also. So this gives you a few modules kasi. The ones we use the most would be channel search. So it says here, searches for channels relevant to a user query. Video list, kasi a list of videos retrieved by a particular search query. So pwede rin yun. If you want to see channels that are related to one another, you could do channel network. But personally, I don't think it's that interesting. Video network, you can create a network of videos that are recommended alongside one another. Could be useful, but maybe for the presentation, we don't need to do it first. So itong comments, it will only show you the comments from a specific video. So if you wanted to do this, and I feel this could be insightful, because you can actually see what the public, what what the users of YouTube are saying, right? And how much other people agree with them. So if you go into your YouTube data set, you should have a file where everything is there. Hindi lang naka-label ng maayos dito. Combined video search. Maybe it's that one. Yeah, it's this one. So, yung pwede nyong gawin is just look for the one with the most engagement. So, it's this one here. Get the video ID. Okay? So, copy the video ID. And then that's what you'll paste into YouTube. Right? So, ayan na lang natin to. Yung video ID dito siya ilalagay after watch. Ay. No, dito siya ilalagay after V equals. Yan. Tama ba? Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Ayan. Okay. So, yun. Ilalagay nyo siya sa after V equals. And then, you just need to get this URL. Go to video info and comments. Launch that. And then you can put in, yung ID lang pala yung kailangan. So, you can just copy this. And then you can put a limit here. Ilang comments pa yan? 2,000 lang naman eh. So I think kayang-kaya niyan. So authenticate. And then you'll probably need to give it a couple of minutes just to gather everything. So it got all of your comments there. And then you have a few files. So for this one, all you really need would be this authors .tab file. You probably won't need to use the others, but if you wanted to, pwede rin naman. So just click on that to download it. And then if you open this a tab file in Excel, What am I looking at here? Wait, this is not what I expected. Greg Ahanon. Where is Trevor Ray? Bakit one lang siya dito? Oh, because he only has one comment. Wait, okay. So maybe that's the wrong file to use. Let's do comments.tab. Ayun, okay. So you wanna do comments.tab pala. And then you can sort it by like count. Ayan, is Trevor Ray. So you can just get that. And then that's what I put here. And then you can already see the other metrics. So you can already see the like count and the reply count there. And then siya yung ilalagay mo dito. And then this is also the file where you can get the data to create this chart. Yung view like ratio na sinuggest ni Doy, pwede rin naman kasi andito na rin yung actually yung views you might have to get it from here, from the actual thing. So yan yung views. What else? Related channel network, I'll probably take care of this for now. Pero network analysis din lang siya. And I think that covers all of the slides. So all of those tutorials that we did, sorry, medyo madami. That should already give you all of the tools you need to build this report. Any questions?
No questions for me. Pero feeling ko, we just really need to spend time rewatching the videos and testing the tools ourselves.
Yes.
Tapos yung nakikita ko kasi sa Monday kasi yung best day na all of us could be focused on this. Kasi Tuesday onwards, yun na yung start ng monthly reports nila eh. So, I'm thinking for Monday, we could all work together either sa Zoom or Discord. Talagang open discussion siya. We could be there the whole day. Siyempre may breaks, pero after you finish your reports, doon lang tayo sa Discord. And parang yung nakikita kong hatian ng work dyan would be per social media. Kasi 'di ba lahat ng social media slides dito merong need ng additional slides for themes, no? So, yun yung nasasuggest ko na parang per social media division natin. Unless may other suggestion kayo guys on how we can work on Monday. Kasi bawat social media naman, it has its own use of the tools eh. Meron siyang Sketch Engine, CrowdTangle, Gephi. So, ayun. Yun lang yung thoughts ko. We could divide per channel.
I'll
Thoughts from
probably
you,
leave
Hannah?
that decision to you. You would know
Yeah.
best. Although I'm definitely going to be part din naman of the Discord
Yeah.
as
Mm-mm.
we do the works. Para if any questions come up, I'll be right there to answer.
Yes.
And then
Asking
also pala, make sure na yung mga lorem ipsum are filled in. Hindi ko lang nagawa talaga for lack of time. Pero of course, you need to have some kind of discussion here. Right? So ang dami pa kasing lorem ipsum dito eh. Just make sure that's filled in.
Okay. Kayo guys, any questions, thoughts, suggestions? Para mas malinaw yung direction natin sa Monday.
Sa akin, okay ako dun sa per social media yung hatian ng work. Pero at least 2 people to, no? Per social media nagagawa.
Oo, yes.
Tulungan. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Yun lang. Thanks. Aralin ko 'to sa weekend siguro. Kasi hindi
Ako
ko
din eh.
matandaan lahat. Hindi ko matandaan lahat talaga.
Yeah.
So, yun.
Question pala, Carlo. Kasi 'di ba yung parang request namin is itong slides na 'to pa rin, pero merong parang speech bubble ng, okay, how do you get this element? Saan siya nakuha ng tool ginamit? When do you see na maging ready siya for us?
If you don't need super detailed instructions,
Mm-mm.
and it's just more of parang saan kukunin and ano yung gagamitin, I can probably send that like probably by the end of the day.
Okay. Sige. So, parang ang nakikita ko dyan, kasi 'di ba in one slide, there are lots of different elements. So, kada element within that slide, parang okay, ito yung tool na ginamit, ito yung itsura nung parang Excel file dito sa column. Parang ganun lang. And then, kami na bahala.
Yep. Definitely can do that, and yes, that will be super helpful for sure.
Yeah, para maganda rin yun na kasama sa review namin dun sa mga magre-review sa weekend. Kasi ako, I'd like to review this eh. Pero again, long weekend siya. Okay lang. You need to take a break din, guys. Medyo hectic din yung past weeks. At mas hectic yung next week natin. So, get all the rest that you can. Si Greenpeace, pumayag naman sila na kahit hanggang second week of March yung deadline. Kasi understandable naman. Sabi ko March 11 yung So, pwedeng gawin natin siya after na nitong monthly tsaka Tesla report. Anything else? Yun lang for me. Oh, ready na kayo guys sa presentation mamayang 2 p.m. So, bale, parang uulitin din natin yung presentation kay Doy last Tuesday. Pero, we're addressing it to Ben and Chris naman. So, ikikwento natin sa kanila. Paano yung naging process natin sa Twitter Universe Project. So, ayun. So, 2 p.m. guys.
Ay, Rach, nakapag-align na kami ni Isaiah with Chris kahapon. Nag-call kami sa kanya. So, ang napag-agrihan namin ay siya na yung mag-discuss kay Doy for later.
Okay. Sige.
Yep.
Sige.
Pero siguro supportan nyo na lang ha. Kasi sometimes
yes.
Chris and Ben, sometimes either you need to give them super specific instructions, otherwise ma-confuse sila. Or they also cannot really express themselves as well as you can. So, supportan nyo na lang siguro.
Yep. Worries.
Okay, so if we're good, this weekend, long weekend siya. Do what you must. Sometimes kailangan talaga din, to do a bit of work on the weekend. Hopefully it's minimal. Take as much rest and, fun as you can. Pero if you must, if you must review, sige.
Okay. Tapos guys, yung link dun sa training videos, nilagay ko na rin siya dun sa folder na ginawa ni Carlo para you can easily review. So itong video na to for now, send mo na lang Carlo later, then I can upload there.
Okay.
Okay.
Carlo, can I consult with you lang after the call? Quick lang din.
Sure.
Thanks.